If I'm looking for some extra warmth, what comes with these wintergreen mitts is just a basic fleece lined mitten that I can slide on over my working glove, slide into my over mitt, and now I have an extra layer of warmth. And now what you have to remember is that you're adding an extra layer of warmth, so your hand is quite warm, and what's going to happen is it's cold outside, it's warm inside, so frost is going to form on the inside of the glove. It's going to be more for you to manage at night during your drying session while you're in the tent. So for me, if I can get away with just leaving these in my day pack so I can access them if it gets cold, and then I'll just wear these for wind protection. My working gloves are also wind stopper, so they're quite warm. So these two, the working glove and the over mitt, are what I spend a majority of my time in. If I need the extra warmth, I can go to my day pack, I can pull these out, slide them on, and away we go. I have an extra layer of protection. Now this glove right here is a thick fleece glove. You can feel how thick that is.
Yeah, it's really thick.
Yeah, it's really thick. You can also imagine it being like a down mitten.
Uh-huh.
So that for me is hard to fit over my working glove. Mm-hmm. It's hard to fit in the over mitt, so you can imagine struggling with this at cold temperatures. Mm-hmm. And you see me slide it in, it looks quite tight, so it's constrictive. So these, for me, are not ideal because they're so thick. I don't need the extra warmth. I've built up a layer system from my palm out, working glove, thin fleece glove, and over mitt. Mm-hmm. These are a little bit too thick. I would leave these at home. These don't travel to the polar regions for me because it's too thick. It's too warm, actually. Because your hands, surprisingly enough, do sweat quite a lot when you're up in the polar regions.
Another reason I would imagine that these would not be very good, and why these in combination with a working glove work much better, is that when you're out and you're doing work, you're skiing, whatever, you're going to be putting your hands in the snow frequently because you're tipping over or you're reaching down to grab something. And these having this outer shell on most of the time, unless it's very warm, is really important because the snow is going to accumulate on this and you can just brush it off. If you're wearing something more along the lines of this and you don't have that shell on, this is just going to accumulate snow all over it, and pretty soon you're going to have a white glove rather than a blue glove.
A white wet glove.
White wet glove. And what you're going to learn quickly is that anything that's wet takes a lot of time to dry, and so we try to keep things as dry as possible.
Some other considerations would be, again, we mentioned the fit of the glove, making sure that your working glove is, you have dexterity, that it covers your wrists, that your top layer can come over or under, so you create a little seal here. And again, you want to make sure that your over mitt allows room for a fleece liner, 1 or 2. I know that Wintergreen sells 2 of these fleece liners. You're not meant to wear both if you don't want to, but it's a nice added feature. They provide 2 pairs of these fleece mittens. And you can see how I have plenty of dexterity there. I can wipe the snow off if I'm digging in the snow, putting in a tent stake. And then again, it's a layered modular system allowing me to make the choice for the weather that's there. So
Keith, can you put this back on again, this over mitt?
Sure. So these are my over mitts. Right there. Again, you can see I have a little pull tab right there. I've made a little extra string so it's easy for me to reach.
And notice that this cuff goes quite close to the elbow, so it's going really far up. These go up far as well, but not quite as far, and you'll discover that if you can get something that goes up further, you're going to have a lot more snow protection.
There we go. It goes right to about the mid-forearm, and this goes well up the forearm.
Is there anything that you can tell us, Keith, any tips about in regards to your mitt system about keeping your hands warm?
The number one thing is you always want to keep the dexterity and feeling in your fingers. If you feel your fingertips going numb, it's a stop and fix problem, and we can do that for you. We can have you do exercises, jumping jacks. We can change your layering system out. We have the chemical hand warmers available, and you should bring some on your own as an option, but it's a stop and fix problem if you have finger tingling or numbness. Once you lose the dexterity in your fingers, if you do get frostbite, it can jeopardize your expedition. So it's a stop and fix problem. Having multiple options and getting it figured out prior to the expedition is ideal.
So when you're in a store, if you're shopping for gear, some of the most important things, just to wrap up, is to pick a working glove that is not too tight. If you can feel it at all, if you can feel the seams pressing on your fingers, probably a sign that it's too tight and it will restrict circulation, making your fingers cold. Second thing is you want a mitt system where, with all the components together, you still have a lot of room where you can wiggle your hands together, and this is my working glove, inside an insulating mitt, which is going to go inside the over mitt. I've got now 3 things on my hand, and I can still move my fingers around with ease, and in fact, I still have room in there to put a chemical hand warmer in if I want to. So those are some key things to think about. Not all over mitts will come with any kind of a leash, which is okay. If you find a pair of over mitts, they don't have a leash, you can make that on your own. You can make it at the last minute or on the first night of the expedition, preferably beforehand. But those are just some tips regarding your hands and how to keep them warm and safe. Anything else you can think of, Keith?
Not right now.